So I want to do this one last episode this year about messaging. And it doesn't mean that it's going to be the last episode, but it's about messaging. And for those that don't know, because maybe you're not inside of my daily emails, and I watch the news very carefully. And in the past year, I've watched even more. And because the more I watch, the more I've learned about messaging, especially on politics. So inside of my emails, I share my thoughts on the election, regards to messaging and what we're seeing, and without fluff, no politics, just straight up, messaging insights. And today I wanted to go even deeper and explore what really makes a message connect. And I mean connect like it actually lands and sticks, not just words, floating out there. Because here's the thing, if politicians can make people stop and listen and even take action, sometimes even without a second thought, then imagine what can we do with a few of those little strategies in our own business. So let's break it down and see what we can steal and you know what I mean, learn. Okay, let's go.
Hey, I'm Veronica de Polo, and with more than 15 years being a marketing strategist, are you ready for actionable bite-sized episodes about business advice on marketing, branding, and messaging to take your business to the next level? If you're a service business owner, we'll show you how to attract qualified leads on social media and beyond. We'll reveal the art of showcasing your brand effectively and will uncover the best strategies to hook your audience so they keep coming for more. Say goodbye to outdated marketing strategies and embrace the power of change. Welcome to the Branding Momentum Podcast.
So here we are diving into this wild world of political messaging. And listen, I love it or you hate it, but you have to admit that they know how to get attention. These people make messaging an art form, or maybe they're copywriters. I do not know. Even if sometimes it feels a little like cringing there. So politicians love to hammer down on stuff that matters to their audience and the freedom and the opportunity and the security and all so on. They talk about it so often that you end up dreaming about it. Now, I'm not saying that you have to start yelling freedom and get the leads. No, but think about what your audience actually cares about. For me, that's business owners who are sick of the fluff and just want to get results. So, in your messaging and in my messaging, I speak to those values, getting straight to the point, no dancing around, although I sometimes actually do dance on a reel, but that's besides the point. By trying to actually think about the values you want to connect with your own messaging. So are you going for growth or balance? And the thrill of finally getting a client to say, yes, I need that. That's where you get people to say, mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I'm in for that. So now that you've noticed how these elections, catchphrases are, you will notice that there are very few little words, or less than 5 words actually, to say that they use. That is no poetry or nothing like inspirational jargon, or it's very quick and simple words. And let me tell you, it's intentional. Really, it's intentional. They do this, they think about this. Like, like brands that they have like 3 letter words, like IBM, Nike, these like there is an intention because people actually can remember them. So they know that if they go too long or too fancy, people will simply just tune out into what you're telling them. So let's make it simple. One clear, bold line that says it all in just one simple phrase. Something that you can say over and over without putting people to sleep. That is the whole point, right? You don't want to put people to sleep. And we're in the game in 2024 of getting people to have a reaction really fast. And we need to not make it Shakespeare style or anything like that or overcomplicated. So if you are a consultant, instead of maybe saying, I help service based businesses unlock growth potential in niche markets, I'm already asleep. Thank you very much. But maybe it's a little bit more like, I help you turn your leads into clients. It's so simple, it's so straightforward, it's not complicated words there, and it's done. So, the next thing that we need to talk about is the repetition part. And politicians love this. And actually, I heard a lot of journalists say, but they're repeating the same thing over and over again. Well, let me tell you, you got to repeat things more than 7 times so that actually gets into people's head. They might be distracted. They might be doing something. Maybe they're not watching the news. So you got to do that repetition. And yes, repetition can be very powerful, but only if it actually really sticks and lands. And there's a big difference between saying something that resonates and just, repeating the same message until it sticks on wallpaper. So, I mean, is that just because you're repeating it doesn't mean that people actually get it. And if you look at the politicians this past election, you know that. It doesn't mean that the more you repeat it, that people will actually get it. So, when you repeat something, ask yourself, does this actually really connect? I mean, do the self check with you first, right? Or am I just saying it louder? Sometimes louder doesn't mean it's better. Sometimes a little tweak in your tone or a little bit more relevance is all that it really takes to go from not again to like, okay, I'm gonna get it. I get it. I'm getting it now. I understand what you're saying. Okay, I have empathy in what you're saying because let's be honest, there's a fine line between strong message and a broken record. Yes. And you know what? Where a lot of politicians, either you like them or not, they know how to tap into emotions. They know how to get all that out of you. But as business owners, we're not here to, pull people's heartstrings or anything like that just for the sake of it. We're here to actually connect and not to audition to a soap opera. We're not in that competition. So we have to keep it real for our audiences and our potential clients. So, for example, if you're selling financial services, talk about the relief your clients feels when they know their finances are secure. Just don't make it all about saying things like unlocking your dreams or embracing freedom. Seriously, they've heard it all before. So try and use words that have more punch to what you're trying to say. Because plus, all those words are a bunch of words that mean nothing. There is no depth into that. So make it something that actually does resonate with what your ideal potential clients actually want. And actually, what you have to do when you're putting those words is you have to make them think, yes, this person actually gets me. And if you heard the aftermath of the elections, that is the main thing. Yes, this person gets me, whether you like the results or not. Okay. But we're not talking about politics. We're talking about messaging and learning from that. Now, You might have noticed that politicians adapt based on who they're talking to. They use the same message, but they actually tweak a few words to hit home with different audiences. So if they do that, you should actually do that yourself as well in whatever you're trying to communicate within your business. Just, don't simply just copy paste your pitch to every client or write the same social media post to get a lead everywhere. Customize it. Speak to what actually matters to that person that you want to attract. Think of it as like, and I always say this, and I know I sound like a broken record, you see. It's like dating. You you would not actually text a first date the same text that you would actually text your best friend. So if you would not do that to somebody that you barely know, it would be completely different as if it was your best friend. So why are we putting out there the one size fits all messaging? Why? We have to tailor it. We have to make it personal. We have to actually make people react to so they can actually respond to what we're actually putting out there. And finally, I want to touch on the golden rule. The golden rule is to be clear over clever. Politicians have seconds to get people to actually understand what they mean. And in business, we got to do the same. I mean, some politicians say stuff and we're like, what? Okay. But we in business, we have to bring this to our own territory, right? We have to do the same. Don't overcomplicate what you want to say with fancy words. If you're making people reach for our dictionary or Google or ChatGPT because they can't understand what you're saying, that is not doing a good job. And this is something that I always use. So when in doubt, imagine explaining your offering to someone in your family who can actually maybe has no clue of what you do. Or think about as you are writing something and you're thinking like fourth grade level kind of students or your best friend. So it feels more personal, it feels more human. And if they get it, you are golden. That is actually the rule. And if they look at you like you're speaking in code, it's time to actually cut all that and all that phrasing that you're putting to actually get to the point. So there you have it. I know it's kind of weird, but this is my own take on messaging. And I actually have been listening and watching a lot. And everything that I hear on TV is incredible. They're all talking about messaging over and over again. And I know it was from the USA elections, but I wanted to do this without the politics for you to actually take it in and maybe learn something from this and take the tips and actually apply them to your own business and watch and see how you actually are making and changing other people's way of thinking or responding to you. And, I've always said this messaging is a long game, it's not a short game. So you have to be tweaking and checking and testing and proving what you're putting out. Okay, now let's go out there and make some connections and not just in a louder kind of way, but in a different kind of way that actually separates you from everybody else. Okay, guys, I'll see you same time, same place next week. Bye bye.